I was tired of my siblings and I living in this tiny little bedroom without any windows. It was always dark. I was just tired of roaches waking me up in the middle of the night. So really the avoidance of pain is what caused me to take action on something that really demanded more than what I thought I was worth. And even though I was very timid, the one thing that I had going for me, man, I was a huge dreamer. I remember being 12 years old and my mom would leave me by myself because, I'd be on school break, but she had to go to work. And I'd spent hours and hours just thinking about how one day I was going to make 100 grand a year. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, I'm going to make 100 grand by the time I'm 21 years old. And I just became obsessed with that number. And really that number to me was a byproduct of being able to give my parents what I promised them that one day I would do. I just always felt like God was with me. My mom would always pray over me every morning, every night. She'd always tell me I was born to do something great. And that one day I was going to be so successful that I'd be able to talk about my faith.
You didn't come from a rich family, but a rich family came from you.
Exactly. I had these huge dreams, and then I just used common sense. I started working at a call center, and I'm like, okay, if I want to make 100 grand a year by the time I'm 21 years old, I better become the manager by the age of 18 years old. And the idea was by then I'd make 60 grand a year, and then I just started focusing on the positive stuff instead of the negative things, right? And I said, okay, the one thing I can control is my activity and my attitude. I'm not going to pay attention to everything else that's telling me that there's no chance. People that were ahead of me all had seniority over me. They were way smarter than me. They were going to college. They weren't timid. And I just thought to myself, okay, I don't have much talent, so I'm just going to take on the mindset of this overachiever. I became obsessed with doing all the boring stuff that no one else wanted to do. I started showing up every day, no matter what. Whereas the people that were way more talented, they didn't show up every day. I started doing a lot of the role playing. And then I went to the top guy in the company. And again, all common sense stuff. I said, hey, do you mind if you record? And he recorded his pitch. And then I literally just studied that thing over and over. I learned it verbatim. I wrote it word for word. And I just studied it. Before I knew it, I sounded just like him. And next thing you know, my belief level went through the roof because now I'm like, wait a minute, I sound like him, walk like him, I talk like him, and he's the best guy. I should be the best guy. And little by little, I became the best guy at that company. And I became the manager at 18 years old. And that was a big moment in my life because other than what I've always said, success, there's three things that you need. And other than hope and faith, you have to believe in yourself. And the reason is because you could only receive what your mind can accept. If your mind can't accept something, it's never going to get it.